What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to Glanimal. Today we're going to be talking about de-escalation of conflict. Many of us have been in situations where there was a disagreement. Maybe somebody's mad at you or you're mad at somebody, which led to an argument where things got heated and possibly have escalated farther than it should have gone. If you have siblings, then you probably know what I'm talking about. Hell, growing up, I've been in a lot of stupid arguments with my siblings. That shit would be over the dumbest stuff sometimes too. I remember when I was younger, I was like blowing in the back of my brother's head and he kept telling me to stop and I just kept doing it. And then he turned around and punched me and shit gets out of hand. But I'm not talking about stupid children fights. I'm talking about when you are put into a situation where there is a disagreement or somebody did something they didn't like or the other way around. Whatever it may be, I'm talking about conflict. So the other day my sister was telling me a story about one of her coworkers. He supposedly had cut somebody off on his way to work, and the person that he apparently cut off followed him into the parking lot and decided to give him a piece of his mind. I'm going to call my sister's coworker John, and I'm going to say the guy that was cut off, I'm going to call him Eric, so that way there's no confusion in the story. Eric decided to give John a piece of his mind after that, and John decided to do the same thing back. John's girl was also in the car too, so I'm sure that played a huge role in his decision making. So things got out of hand pretty quick. It got to the point where some of the other coworkers ended up getting involved because there was a whole lot of back and forth jabs, when, to be honest with you, this whole situation could have been avoided with the skill of de-escalation. Finally, after some time, the argument seemed to have come to a halt, and John decided to go back to work. Finally, when my sister thought that the whole thing was over with, John continued to talk about it throughout the day as if it was living rent-free in his brain, even though it was already done. I'm sure all of us have been in a situation like that, where something had happened and it pissed you off to the point where you couldn't really shake that feeling of anger and frustration about what had happened. But what people fail to realize is when you're doing that, you're actually producing more stress and not getting any return on it. What I mean by that is the only type of stress you should be intentionally implementing into your life is stress that you get something out of, like working a double shift or starting a YouTube channel when you have no time to do shit.
I've been crying for a while now.
That is the type of stress you should be adding to your life. Not unnecessary stress where you're arguing with somebody you've never met before. That is why the skill of de-escalation is essential for your peace of mind and your quality of life. You need to learn how to de-escalate, especially if you're the one calm and the other person's not calm. If you learn how to de-escalate, you could potentially calm that person down and avoid a whole ordeal. I'm not going to say who is wrong in this situation that my sister told me about, but I will tell you that the situation was handled wrong on both ends. Throwing personal jabs at somebody you've never met before, in my opinion, is just downright silly. You don't even know that person. You don't know what they've been through. My mic just died, so I'm going to raw dog the rest of this. Stress is a part of the terms and agreement of being a human, and whether you sign the dotted line or not, you are still alive and you are still a person. Stress is going to be there no matter what. But creating unnecessary stress is absolutely pointless. But when you're put in a situation where there's a conflict, you need to learn to de-escalate so that way you can save yourself from all of those unwanted problems. The first thing you need to do in any situation where you're de-escalating is empathize with the other person. Hear them out, let them do their bitching, and just sit there and take it. What that's going to do is let the person feel heard, and it lets them get that shit off their chest. Trying to talk while they are talking is just going to make it worse. Let them talk first. That way you can start de-escalating the situation. What John should have done was let Eric continue to bitch for a minute and just sat there making eye contact and showing him that he was listening the entire time. Then after Eric is done bitching, John needs to show empathy by letting Eric know that he is sorry about how this turned out and asking him what can we do to make things right. First thing this will do is it'll bring Eric's guard down, so that way Eric's at a little bit of a less defensive stance. It makes it a lot easier to work with somebody when you allow them to let their guard down. Simply speaking in a calm manner and hearing the person out and showing them that you want to solve this issue will make that person instantly respect you more and can cause the problem to end before it has even started. That person may still be angry. It's not going to make the situation worse when you empathize with that person. Step 2 is explain your perspective without unvalidating their perspective. You do this by explaining why you did what you did, but also admitting to why what you did was wrong. Even if you were right, it's okay to take accountability for how you could have handled the situation. I'm not saying take all of the blame, but I'm telling you to take accountability for what you did do. I'm sure there is something that you can find that you did. If John did that, it would have showed Eric that John is not trying to create more problems, and he's also not trying to avoid what had happened. The only reason why Eric followed him into his parking lot of where he worked is because Eric wanted to be heard and understood, which is a wrong approach. However, you're going to run into situations like that. You need to learn how to deal with them. The next thing John should have done was introduced himself and shook his hand. That's going to show that you're not ashamed of who you are, and it's going to show confidence and you're taking control of the situation instead of making it easier for Eric to find something to be mad at. Introducing yourself is going to make you look mature and easy to work with. It's going to help let Eric's guard down even more and potentially make that other person like you, which will completely obliterate any fuel used to make the situation worse. Not only does that de-escalate the situation, it also directs the motive of the situation. Instead of trying to be right, you should be trying to come to an understanding where both people are happy when they walk away. The reason why Eric is so defensive is because he wants to win, which causes a lot of anger and a lot of defensive statements, causing the problem to get worse. Now, that did not happen in this story. The argument happened, coworkers got involved, and things got blown out of proportion. How to handle the stress afterwards is a lot more simpler than de-escalating the problem in the first place. Instead of continuing to talk about it and letting it live in your head, John should have went on with his day, brushed it off his shoulder, and just continued to work, instead of creating more stress for yourself. Like I said before, stress is guaranteed. It's going to be at your doorstep. You're going to have bills, you're going to have stupid arguments like this one. There is no point in creating more stress for yourself. You always got to ask yourself if it's worth it whenever you get into a conflict. And if it's not worth it, there is no point in escalating the situation, because it takes a time investment and it takes away your peace of mind. There is no point in sacrificing it for somebody you've never met before. You just need to de-escalate it. De-escalation is a mixture of empathy, social skills, understanding, listening, and emotional control. If you have those 5 things, you can make any argument, potentially even become a friendship. It's an extremely important skill to have. Do not allow stress to live rent-free in your brain when it is not benefiting you. The only type of stress that you should be intentionally applying to your life is stress that's going to benefit you. Let life itself give you the unnecessary stress. That shit's going to be there no matter what. Do not create unnecessary stress when it's already on its way towards you right now, as we speak. Thanks for watching my video. I appreciate all the support and all the subscribers. It's a lot of work to edit these videos, so please show some love. Please let me know what you guys think so I can better edit these videos and come up with better topics to talk about. I would love to hear your guys' opinions. If you guys like this type of content, please check out last week's video. It's about self-improvement as a whole, and it'll basically sum up what this channel is about. I love making these videos. It's truly something that I'm passionate about. I appreciate all of the engagement, all of the comments and likes on the posts. This channel is going to be here for the long haul. My goal is to make every single video better than the last one. You all have a great day. Stay on that Glanimal grind set.